Picture this: two great cosmic forces locked in eternal opposition meet at the threshold of creation. Light presses against darkness. Masculine will encounters feminine receptivity. The active principle confronts the passive. In that moment of tension, something extraordinary happens. Not collision, not destruction, but the birth of a third force, a creative spark that contains both polarities while transcending them entirely. This is not the story of balance. This is the story of synthesis, of emergence, of the hidden power that the Hermetic masters recognized as the true engine of all manifestation. Tonight, we journey beyond the familiar territory of polarity into the realm of the third force, that mysterious principle which the Kybalion hints at but never fully reveals, the secret that transforms opposition into creation. The ancient Hermeticists understood something profound. While most spiritual traditions speak of balancing opposites, the real magic happens in the space between them. Here in this pregnant void, the third force is born, neither masculine nor feminine, neither light nor dark, but something entirely new that could not exist without both. We have walked this path before, exploring how the Kybalion reveals that everything is dual, everything has poles, everything has its pair of opposites. Yet as we delve deeper into Hermetic wisdom, we discover that polarity itself is merely the stage upon which a far more mysterious drama unfolds. The principle of polarity teaches us that opposites are identical in nature, differing only in degree. Hot and cold, love and hate, positive and negative, all are but varying vibrations of the same fundamental essence. But the Hermetic masters saw a deeper pattern at work. They recognized that when two poles reach their fullest expression in conscious tension, something unprecedented emerges. Consider the alchemical marriage, that sacred union depicted in countless medieval texts. The Red King and White Queen do not simply balance each other's qualities. In their conscious embrace, they generate the philosopher's child, the third force that possesses powers neither parent could manifest alone. This child is not compromise, but transcendence, not mixture, but synthesis. The Corpus Hermeticum speaks of this principle in veiled language. That which is above is like that which is below, and that which is below is like that which is above. Yet between above and below lies the realm of manifestation itself, the third force that bridges the eternal and temporal, the divine and human, the potential and actual. This is where the alchemist's work takes an unexpected turn. The goal is not to neutralize opposing forces, but to become the conscious vessel in which their creative tension births something entirely new. Step into the temple chambers of ancient Egypt, and you will find the sacred Triads gazing back at you from every wall. Osiris, Isis, and Horus, Father, Mother, and Divine Child. But look more closely, and you will see that Horus is not simply the offspring of his parents. He is the third force, the synthesis that embodies both paternal authority and maternal wisdom, while transcending both in his role as the renewed God-King. The Egyptians understood what we are only beginning to rediscover. that creation requires three, not two. The interplay of opposing forces generates the third, which then becomes the active principle of transformation in the world. Horus wields the power of Osiris and the magic of Isis, yet his nature is neither. It is the creative synthesis that emerges when polarities meet in sacred union. Travel to the Christian mysteries, and we encounter another expression of this ancient wisdom. The Trinity, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, reveals the same pattern. The Father represents pure being, the absolute principle. The Son embodies manifestation, the divine made flesh. But it is the Holy Spirit, the third force, that moves between them as the active principle of revelation and transformation. What emerges here is neither compromise nor balance, but something entirely new. The Holy Spirit is not half Father and half Son, but a completely novel principle that could only arise from their conscious relationship. This is the breath of God, the wind that moves upon the waters of creation, the third force that actualizes divine potential in the manifest world. In the Hindu Trimurti, we see the same cosmic pattern. Brahma creates, Vishnu preserves, Shiva destroys. Yet beyond all three stands the principle of Brahman, the consciousness in which all three dance. Here, the third force is not another deity, but the very awareness that witnesses and enables the eternal cycle of creation, preservation, and dissolution. The ancient Chinese sages expressed this mystery through the concept of the Tao. Yin and Yang, the fundamental polarities of existence, dance in eternal interplay. Yet the Tao itself, that which gives birth to the one, which gives birth to the two, is the third force, the sourceless source from which all polarities emerge and to which they return. But perhaps nowhere is this principle more explicitly revealed than in the laboratory of the alchemist. Here, sulfur and mercury, the masculine solar fire and feminine lunar water, unite in the presence of salt, the neutral principle that serves as their meeting ground. Yet this salt is far from passive. It is the third force, the conscious medium in which transformation occurs, the philosophical earth in which the new creation gestates. Now we turn the lens inward, for the greatest laboratory is the human psyche itself. Within us, the same cosmic drama unfolds daily, hourly, moment by moment. Our conscious mind, with its solar clarity and directed will, meets our subconscious depths with their lunar intuition and oceanic wisdom. In the tension between them, insights are born. Carl Jung, that modern alchemist of the soul, identified this process as the transcendent function. When our rational ego encounters the symbols and energies of the unconscious, neither is destroyed nor diminished. Instead, a third element emerges: creative insight, authentic understanding, the birth of a new perspective that neither consciousness nor unconsciousness could generate alone. Watch this process in action. A scientist struggles with a complex problem, applying all the tools of logical analysis. In sleep, the unconscious mind continues the work through dream and symbol. Upon awakening, the solution appears, not from logic alone, nor from dream alone, but from their mysterious synthesis. This is the third force at work in human creativity. The mystics speak of a similar process. When the heart's love meets the mind's understanding, neither sentiment nor intellect alone suffices. What emerges is gnosis, direct knowing, the third force that transcends both feeling and thought, while utilizing both as its servants. Consider your own moments of breakthrough. When has your greatest learning occurred? Not when you simply acquired new information, nor when you merely felt deeply, but when thinking and feeling, knowing and being, understanding and experiencing united in a flash of recognition. This is the third force manifesting through you. The Hermetic masters recognize that we ourselves can become conscious agents of this principle. By learning to hold opposing thoughts, feelings, and experiences in creative tension without immediately resolving them, we create the inner conditions for the emergence of synthesis. We become the alchemical vessel, the sacred space where transformation occurs. History reveals this principle at work in every domain of human achievement. In art, the greatest masterpieces emerge not from single vision, but from the synthesis of opposites. The sculptor must unite the masculine force that removes stone with the feminine receptivity that feels the form waiting within. The poet must marry the solar power of conscious craft with the lunar mystery of inspiration. Consider Michelangelo in the Sistine Chapel. His rational knowledge of anatomy meets his mystical vision of divine beauty. Neither technical skill nor spiritual inspiration alone could create such transcendent art. It is their synthesis, the third force, that transforms pigment and plaster into windows to the eternal. The same pattern appears in scientific discovery. Newton's mathematical precision encountered the intuitive leap that recognized universal gravitation. Darwin's meticulous observation united with the synthetic vision that perceived evolution's grand pattern. Einstein's rigorous logic danced with imaginative leaps that revealed the fabric of space and time. But the Hermetic masters saw deeper still. They recognized that this third force is not merely useful for human creativity. It is the very principle by which the universe creates itself. Every moment, opposing forces throughout the cosmos generate new realities. Stars are born from the marriage of gravitational collapse and nuclear fusion. Life emerges from the union of chaos and order. Consciousness arises from the synthesis of matter and spirit. We are not separate from this cosmic creativity, but expressions of it. When we learn to consciously participate in the generation of the third force, we align ourselves with the universe's own creative impulse. We become co-creators, active participants in the ongoing genesis. This is why the alchemical texts speak not merely of transmuting lead into gold, but of the alchemist's own transformation. As we learn to hold opposites in creative tension, we ourselves become the philosopher's stone, the catalyst that transforms everything it touches through the power of conscious synthesis. How then do we cultivate this mysterious principle? The path begins with a fundamental shift in how we relate to opposition and conflict. Rather than immediately seeking to resolve tension, we learn to dwell consciously within it. Rather than choosing sides, we become the aware space in which opposing forces can dance. This is delicate work, requiring what the Taoists call wu wei, action through non-action, doing by not doing. We cannot force the third force into existence any more than we can command a flower to bloom. But we can create the conditions for its natural emergence. The first step is developing what we might call polar consciousness, the ability to hold opposing thoughts, feelings, and perspectives simultaneously without inner collapse. When anger and compassion arise together, instead of choosing one or banishing the other, we learn to experience both fully. In that space of conscious tension, a new quality emerges, perhaps fierce love, or what the Buddhists call wrathful compassion. Ancient practices from many traditions support this development. The Hermetic axiom, solve et coagula, dissolve and coagulate, speaks to the rhythm of breaking down old patterns and allowing new synthesis to emerge. Meditation teaches us to observe the play of opposites without immediate reaction. Contemplative prayer invites us to rest in the tension between human limitation and divine possibility. The alchemical texts offer another key: the importance of the sealed vessel. True synthesis cannot occur when opposing forces dissipate their energy through expression or action. They must be contained in the conscious heart, held in loving tension until their creative potential can actualize. We ourselves become this sealed vessel when we commit to staying present with difficulty rather than escaping into premature resolution. But perhaps most crucial is learning to recognize the third force when it emerges. It rarely appears as we expect. Often it manifests as a sudden shift in perspective, a creative solution that honors both sides of a dilemma, or an entirely new possibility that transcends the original opposition. The key is remaining alert to these moments of emergence and honoring them as sacred births. The Hermetic path teaches us that this work is not merely personal, but cosmic. As we learn to generate the third force consciously within ourselves, we participate in the universe's own evolutionary impulse. We become agents of the very principle that transforms opposition into creation, conflict into breakthrough, separation into conscious unity. We return now to where we began, that moment of meeting between great cosmic forces, that threshold where opposition becomes creation. But now we understand something profound. We are not merely observers of this cosmic drama, but active participants in it. Every moment offers us the opportunity to become the conscious vessel in which the third force is born. Look within your own life at this very moment. What oppositions are you experiencing? What tensions feel unresolvable? What if, instead of seeking immediate answers, you recognize these as the raw materials for synthesis? What if the very conflicts that seem to block your path are actually invitations to participate in cosmic creativity? The Hermetic masters discovered that when we learn to embrace opposition consciously, not passively accepting it, but actively engaging it as creative tension, we become alchemical vessels. Within us, the red king of conscious will meets the white queen of receptive wisdom. In their sacred marriage, the divine child is born, that third force which is neither will nor wisdom alone, but their creative synthesis. This child possesses powers neither parent could manifest individually. It can act with precision yet remain flexible. It can love fiercely yet without attachment. It can know deeply yet remain open to mystery. This is the goal of the great work, not the creation of gold, but the birth of the conscious human who embodies the third force. As we close our exploration tonight, carry with you this recognition. You are not a passive recipient of opposing forces, but a conscious participant in their resolution. Every challenge you face, every internal conflict you experience, every moment when life presents you with seemingly irreconcilable opposites, these are not obstacles, but opportunities. They are invitations to become the sacred vessel, the conscious space where polarities unite to birth something entirely new. In learning to hold opposition without collapse, in staying present with tension without premature escape, in trusting the mysterious process of synthesis, you align yourself with the universe's own creative principle. The third force awaits your conscious participation. It cannot emerge without the meeting of opposites, but it also cannot emerge without the aware presence that recognizes its birth. In becoming this aware presence, you discover that you are not separate from cosmic creativity, but an expression of it, the very means by which the universe comes to know itself through conscious synthesis. The ancient mystery remains ever present. In the marriage of opposites, in the tension of polarities, in the space between what was and what might be, the third force stirs. And you, conscious, aware, present, are its eternal midwife.